Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I am going to be doing the tag for story ideas. But before we get started, if you like my videos, make sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell so you can see more of my content. Okay, first question, current story. What is your current story idea that you're working on right now? So right now, the one that I'm working on a couple of existing story ideas, one of which is an extension of a previous mythology story that I wrote, where it's about the Japanese earth goddess and the Japanese moon goddess falling in love and all of the twists and turns that come with it. 2. Spark of inspiration. Do your ideas begin with characters, plot, world building, or something else entirely? For me, I would say it depends, but usually it ends up being based on some sort of plot aspect. Sometimes it's a combination of plot and characters. Rarely do I find that it's world building. That only happens on occasion, but sometimes those are the coolest ideas. So, 3. Brainstorming. How do you puzzle piece your story elements together? Do you start with the end and make your way to the beginning, or vice versa? Honestly, usually I just go from start to finish. The only thing that I sometimes skip around with is sometimes I like to do the ending before I do the second and third acts, but usually I go straight from the beginning. Number 4, keep or toss. How do you know if you want to keep or dump a story idea? I am a dragon when it comes to story ideas and do not throw them away at all. They sit in my file with their half-finished stories and just collect dust. I'm really bad about tossing story ideas. I just kind of keep them in a file and keep them away for later, and sometimes later comes and sometimes later does not come. And that's pretty much it. I'm really bad about getting rid of things. I am an idea hoarder. 5, original idea. How much of your original idea for the story is actually used once everything is finished? I am a bit of an underwriter, so usually almost all of the idea ends up going into the story. Sometimes things have to get thrown away because they just don't fit with the characters, but more than likely I end up adding on ideas rather than taking away from the original idea. Like usually I'll start with a fairly small idea, like for example with Spellbound, the original idea was just there is a girl who is trapped in a greenhouse, and somewhere along the way we ended up with nymphs and a guy and a romance. That's just how it happened. Hide or share. Number 6. Do you share your book ideas with friends or keep them a secret? I usually share my book ideas with friends because I often like to bounce ideas off of them. So, it just depends. I do often share them with friends. The only reason I would keep them a secret if it's something that's going to be like more of a steamy romance, or if it's something that I plan on writing under a pen name and that person is not co-writing with me. Some of my friends will actually co-write with me, so they have to know about it, obviously. But if they're not co-writing with me and it's a pen name, then I won't let them know. If it's any other case, I'll probably share the idea with them at some point, ad nauseum, to the point where they're like, just shut up about it already. I overshare. A little bit. Number 7, dream. Have any of your books started with a dream? Not my books, but definitely my short stories. I've had quite a few flash fictions that have started usually with nightmares, sometimes with dreams. Like one where I was trapped in some sort of maze world type thing and had to get out, but people were getting murdered. That was one of them. I never quite finished the story, but I wrote several pages of it. So usually the stuff that comes from my dreams doesn't ever take full form. Sometimes I have thoughts before I go to sleep that I'll write down that end up becoming stories. I've never had like a full book come from a dream though. Number 8, doppelganger. Have you ever had an idea for a story, but then you saw a similar premise in a book, TV show, movie? All the time. So I wanted to write the Gemstone Massacre series years and years ago. This was something I was thinking about back when I was maybe 13. So imagine my disappointment when I see several of my characters' names and also the premise that I had in none other than Steven Universe. Yes. Yeah. That was a little bit of a heartbreaker one for me. But yeah, that was definitely, the plots are very different, but just the fact that like the names are really similar, my first thought was like, oh my god, people are going to see this book and all they're going to think is like, oh my god, she stole her idea for her characters from the TV show. Like, no, the characters were named this like years ago, like over 13 years ago. So yeah, I have had that happen before. I also had that happen with something else, but I can't remember what it was. I have a really horrible memory. Number 9, big screen inspiration. Have any of your favorite movies, TV shows sparked ideas for scenes in your book? Yes. Again, yes. One of the scenes in my book, and without trying to spoil too much of it, one of the scenes in my current work in progress, which is Amy's Rebellion, I actually got the inspiration from The Incredibles. So if you see that scene and you're like, I wonder where this came from. This looks really familiar. Yeah, I got the inspiration from that. Just shh. Number 10, nostalgia. And this is the final one. What is the oldest or first story idea you remember coming up with writing down? I wasn't very creative as a kid, so my first story idea was just superpowered dogs, and I called them, you'll never guess, super dogs. Yes. Yeah, that was my first story idea when I was a kid. I was in elementary school and illustrated it myself. I still have it. I even have these little flip comics I made for it. So those were all my questions. And that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, make sure to click that like button and subscribe to my channel down below. And I'm also tagging anyone in the Authortube community who'd like to do this one. But that's all. Thanks. Bye.